Hi everyone, my name is Rachel and welcome to the French Scenes. Thanks so much for coming back for another edition of Friday Sews. So as always, a huge thank you to Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room for setting up this hashtag where we talk about what we have been sewing, what we will be sewing and a little bit of life. So thank you very, very much. As always, a huge thank you to everybody who's watched any of my previous videos, anybody who's left a like, left a comment. Thank you very, very much. I really do appreciate it. And in particular this week where I did get one fabulous comment, so thank you very, very much. And that is about my Kielo wrap dress. So if you remember last week, I made this Kielo wrap dress in this viscose jersey from driessenstoffen in my favourite green colour. But as is my habit, I had the iron up way too hot, way too much steam, and that fabric just could not handle it. So I left a lovely kind of heat stain on the front. So I wasn't quite sure what to do, but thank you very, very much for the recommendation of soaking it for 24 hours. So I just basically put in the bath in cold water overnight. My husband came in, he was like, what is in the bath? Because it looks like a bit of a sea monster. So left it there overnight, soaking in cold water, then washed it. And as you can see, the stain has gone. So thank you so much. I think it's something to do with loosening the fibres and all that, but whatever magic it was, it has worked. So thank you very, very much. It's rescued that garment and lesson learned. I did also get a recommendation for a kind of a heat protector thing for your iron as well, which I'll pop in the description below. So all of these can form part of basically just not destroying your lovely fabric and your lovely makes. But anyway, lesson learned. So I love all your comments. I love responding to your comments, and you people are very, very knowledgeable and I'm very, very appreciative. So that was one little thing I wanted to mention about last week. The rest of the week was good. It was fairly busy, just the usual bits and pieces, family stuff. Mr. French Seams was travelling again, so I got a bit more sewing done, as you can probably tell here. So that was my Kielo. I think I mentioned last week that I finished all my Sewfruity makes, which I'm very, very happy about, and kind of seeing a few teasers and stuff online. So the reveal day is it Sunday week, I think, so very excited for seeing everybody's makes. That's very, very exciting. What else did I get made up? I made my Marlo cardigan, and here it is. So if you remember last week, I wanted to make a little Marlo cardigan, and I had this beautiful kind of peachy pinky jacquard. Oh, I also got my nails done. Subtle, aren't they? I love them. A Marlo cardigan out of this fabric from driessenstoffen. So I made my usual size, but I think this fabric is a little bit, I don't know what the word is, but it's come up a little bit smaller than my other makes, which is fine because it gives more kind of a cropped look. So here it is, and it matches perfectly my fringe dress, which I'll talk about later. Then I also put on some buttons, and these are beautiful Ethel Joan buttons that the lovely Anne kindly gifted me, and I sewed these on as well. I think they match really, really well. They've got a little kind of pink accent in them. Another comment I got was about buttonholes. So these are 1-inch buttons, and my buttonhole foot on my dukey goes to 1 inch. Apologies for the fluff. Looks like it's snowing. My buttonhole foot goes up to 1 inch. And as you know, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with my dukey and my buttonholes. They're very temperamental. They don't always work. So I practiced twice. Perfect. These, oops, at the other side, they're buttons, not buttonholes. These two went in perfectly. This, not so much. And I think it's something to do with just the bulk here. It just does not like anything bulky. It doesn't like anything in its way at all. So I basically had to finish that off by hand. Hopefully nobody would notice. But I did get another fabulous comment about a video on the Sew Essential vlog, the lovely Lucy, and I'll link to that below. Basically it shows you how to use a regular foot to make a buttonhole. It's really cool. It's all about kind of tapping the little thing that you pull down to make a buttonhole. Genius. Except it uses a satin stitch. If somebody could let me know how to use a satin stitch on my dukey, that would be great, because then I can try out this technique. But I would highly recommend you look at that video. On that video, it also shows you how to do the joining of bias binding, which I love doing. So yeah, it was a fabulous video. So I would recommend you look at that, and that gives great options for buttonholes if your buttonhole foot doesn't do buttons big enough, basically is the reason for that video. Yes, so if your buttons are too big. That was a very roundabout way, I apologise. So anyway, I got around it by having 2 lovely buttonholes, one not so much, but it came out really, really well. And this takes about an hour to make, aside from the buttonhole drama. But I think, yeah, I love it, and I think it's a really cute make. This is the True Bias Marlo, I should say. So I'll pop it down because I did say last week that it goes very well with this fabric, and I think it really does. So if I pop it on like this, and then I can button it up. What I can also do is my little hack, which I've started to do recently, was sew these tie these up and then flap it up, and then you've got a little cropped cardigan. So yes, very, very happy with this. This came together in no time flat. So this is my lovely Marlo cardigan. I also got my fringe dress done. So as you can see, my beloved fringe dress, and this is kind of a Stitch Festival baby really, because I got the fabric at Stitch Festival at M. Rosenberg Stitch Fabrics. It's got a label in the back from Little Rosy Cheeks, the little label that Victoria gives you when you buy a label at the shows. And then the buttons are, I'm not quite sure I'll be able to show you these ones here. They're Ethel Joan buttons that I bought at Stitch Festival too, and they have little tiny gold flecks in them. I'll pop in a close-up picture here. They're just beautiful. So this is basically just all Stitch Festival, and I love it. So I have made this before, but I've made it in a cotton lawn, an Arida Hansen one, and this obviously was a lot drapier, but it was still beautiful to sew with. This fabric presses really well, and yeah, I just love how it came out. So I made the tab sleeve version and the button placket version, and then it's got two little waist ties here. It's got lovely gathering, and it has pockets. So I add 2 inches to the bodice to make it a bit longer, and I don't add anything to the length. Oh, nothing I did was I leveled off the hem. So in the pattern it kind of has a dipped hem at the front, but in my previous version I do like it, but I think I prefer a straight across hem, so I did that this version. Hopefully I'll pop in some pictures here. But I don't add any length to the skirt because I've already added length to the bodice. Another change I made was the pockets are very flappy, and you know how I feel about a flappy pocket. What I should have done is that I've now made the Fabric Godmother fleur dress, and I absolutely love it. But there's a fabulous I'll put back in my teeth, shall I? There's a fabulous pocket pattern piece in that, and it's enormous, but it goes into the waist seam, which is really, really nice, and these don't. So what I've done, I can't show you because I'm wearing it. I've actually attached a thread loop to the top of the pocket and attached it into the waist seam. And I learned how to do that by the fabulous Teresa from Lost My Thread. She has a wonderful vlog, I'll see kind of link it below, about how to use thread chains, and it's just genius. Thread chains are brilliant. You can use them to tie things, you can use them as belt loops. Fabulous. So I've kind of secured those into the waist seam, and I think it makes it less bulkier and less flappy around the hip area, because nobody wants that. But yes, I just love, love, love this dress, and this basically now is my birthday dress, so it's very, very special. The fringe dress is very special anyway, because myself and the lovely Sam from Sew Let Sparkle Sam wore our fringe dresses to the Stitch Festival, and now this Stitch fabric has become my birthday dress, so I love it. I think the colour is so beautiful and it matches my nails. So yes, there was another make I got done this week. What else did I do? Oh yes, I finally hemmed the curtains in our bedroom. So you may remember that I made curtains a few weeks ago, and I was saying I was letting them hang. I wasn't, I just got lazy. So I finally hemmed them, which was great. I got older French seams to help me. He loved doing it because he presses a little on off button on my sewing machine, so love getting involved in that. So I was very pleased to get that done. I started on my new quilt. So last was Sunday night, I spent hours cutting out literally hundreds of squares. So I was there for hours. Mr. French James was watching the golf. He was fine. I was there literally on the floor cutting out square after square after square. Then finally realised that my rotary cutter blade was blunt like a spoon. Changed the blade. Wow, did that make a difference. So I've cut out so many squares. So here are all my 4-inch ones, and then I cut out a load of 4 7/8 ones, and I've now made all my half square triangles at my sewing bee on Monday. So I've got these ones, so they're trimmed, everything. So very proud of myself. So these were all 4 7/8, and I've trimmed them down to 4 inches. So on Monday at my next quilting bee, I'm going to start assembling the quilt, which is very, very exciting. So yeah, can't wait to see how that pans out. Bit nervous, but really, really excited as well. So that was my lovely quilting update. One other thing I wanted to mention was the lovely Teresa, who I mentioned earlier, Lost My Thread, and Sarah from Sarah Sewed. They've just started a fabulous quilt along. So it's the Helen's Closet quilting side. So it's Cedar Quilt Co. She's got this fabulous free pattern called Standing Tall, and you basically make it out of jelly rolls. I really want to do it because I love the word jelly roll. I think it sounds hilarious and adorable, and I really want a jelly roll. So it's basically strips of fabric, and it looks beautiful. And they've started a quilt along, so I'll link to that below. They've just done a kind of starter introduction video, and it's going through, I think is the end of July or something, and they're kind of choosing fabric and cutting fabric and assembling it, and you can kind of join along with them. It's a fabulous idea, and if it wasn't for this quilt I definitely would be joining along. However, when I finish this I may very well go back and do that one, but just thought if you like these little quilting updates, I thought I'd give that a little shout out because it seemed like a really fun idea and a really fun collaboration between two amazing sewists. So that was my update from this week. So pretty busy. What else did I get up to? Nothing much, just lots and lots of sewing. Really enjoying the sewing bee. I don't know if you're able to watch it wherever you are as well. I think it's absolutely fabulous. Really enjoyed this week, and I think all the contestants are brilliant, and I hate seeing people go at this stage because you've kind of got to know them as well. Ooh. Anyway, so what are my plans for the coming week? So I don't think I'm going to get much sewing done at all this week because, did I mention it's my birthday? So my parents are coming to stay for the weekend, so we're going to be doing kind of celebratory stuff like that. And then next week I've got my quilting bee on Monday, then obviously the sewing bee on Tuesday, and then by the time Friday rocks around I don't think I'll have anything done at all. So what I think I will do next weekend instead is film a Sewfruity makes video. So I will show you my strawberry Luna pouch, I will show you my little boy's monkey pajamas, I'll show you my cherry cardigan, cuddle cardigan, and I will show you my orange Fabric Godmother flare dress. So excited. So I think I'll film that instead next week instead of a Friday sews, but I'll come back with a Friday sews the following week because what I would like to get sewn up is, and I'm a little bit nervous and I think I'm the last person to this party, an Avenir jumpsuit. I think they're so beautiful, and for that I've got this majestic fabric from driessenstoffen, which is the most gorgeous dark green florally abstract viscose. Absolutely beautiful. So I think this would make a really fun, really summery, again subtle Avenir jumpsuit. So I've been asking a few people about how they found it. Everybody seems to love it. I've got a few recommendations on sizing because the rise is always tricky, isn't it? So I would love to get that made up. So I'm not going to get that made up this week at all, but maybe in 2 weeks I'll have it done. So yeah, looking forward to starting on that. So I think that's going to be my one and only plan for the week. So aside from that, yeah, I think that's about it. I hope you're all well. Thank you very much for joining me today. It was kind of a whistle stop tour this week, but I'm so delighted that I got these two makes made up. Absolutely chuffed. Oh, one other little sewing thing I got made up this week. My older boy is finishing school next week, so he's got his first year of primary school almost done. I can't believe it, and he's basically worn holes entirely in his tracksuit, so I chopped them up into shorts. So I'm glad it's nice and sunny today because he went in shorts today. So that was my little sewing. So I think that really is a bit of a superpower when you can just alter things. He's like, I'd like shorts. I'm like, okay, bada bing, next day he has shorts. That's just magic. So I think I will wrap it up there. If you like this video, I would very much love it if you gave it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing. As always, if you have any questions, any comments, I'd love to answer them down in the comment box below, or just have a bit of a chat. You know how much I love that. I hope you all have a lovely week, and I will hopefully come back to you next week with Sewfruity, and then the week after for another Friday Sews. Take care everyone. Bye.